You should never let your momentum get to zero, because all of us have been there. You go on vacation and you don't train. When you get home, it's really hard to start training again. And if that 3 days to 5 days to 7 days to 14 days, it gets harder and harder and harder. But if you just go out and do a walk, if you just do an EMOM, if you just do this, now you're not letting your momentum hit zero, and it's gonna be much easier for you to get back in the flow.
I actually just had this conversation with we were in Austin this weekend. We were doing a big community group run, and I was talking to this one collegiate runner. He was talking about how he just got done with this big race series, and even though the race series was over, he was still keeping his weekly running mileage at just a minimum dosage.
Like a minimal, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I do the same thing where when I'm done with a big marathon training block or a big goal, I will not stop running. I do not want to start over again. I spent years and years and years building my endurance to get to this point.
Right.
The last thing I want to do is stop.
Right.
No matter how beat down and exhausted I am, just maintain some maintenance mileage to keep that base going so I can rebuild when I'm ready to go again. But when you stop, it's hard to kick back up.
Dude, you can just walk. Like, you could do anything. Like, man, I just think that, fitness has been put on such a pedestal, and they see guys like you, and maybe I'm, like I see someone like you, I'm like, dude, that guy's running 6-minute miles and he's that big. Like, what the fuck? And you're doing, but you've spent decades training like that, or many, many years. And the way you do fitness isn't the way everybody needs to do fitness. The way I do fitness isn't the way everybody needs to do fitness, but everybody needs to do fitness. Like, if what's hard for you, it's like a cold plunge. You do much cold plunging?
Not much.
Okay.
I do more sauna than cold plunge.
So yeah, the benefits happen when it's something hard that you don't want to do and you overcome it, right? Yeah. It doesn't matter if this cold plunge is at 50 or 30 degrees. If it's going to suck, it's going to suck for you individually. And what's hard for you might not be, what's hard for someone else may not be hard for you, but it's hard for them. And as long as they're doing something, I think that's the key. They don't need to do what you and I do. They just need to do what's hard for them. And that could be 5 minutes of burpees. That could be walking. That could be rucking. But as long as they're doing something, because then that momentum starts to build, and then it starts to turn into something really special.
That's why I run every morning. I run because it sets my day up for success.
Right.
My alarm goes off at 4:20, and I know, okay, I have to get out of bed right now. I have to go get ready and go start my run to try me back before my daughter's up. So my time is ticking as soon as my alarm goes off. And if I get that run done, that sets my day up for success. Foundationally, I have my time by myself, my solitude. I've listened to a podcast or an audiobook. I'm cranking. I'm covered in sweat, especially now here in the summer months of Texas.
Yeah.
Drenched in sweat. And you get back thinking like, all right, day's ready to get started. Let's go. I think you need that.
I think you're right. I think getting it done in the morning, I think makes a lot of sense. I think early is always better, but just getting it in general is great. And you need it because, and dude, think about like what it does. A buddy of mine, Mark Bell, he says he has a term like putting points on the scoreboard. And I love this analogy where if you wake up in the morning and get in a run or you do something at the hotel gym, like, dude, you're putting points on the scoreboard early, and it allows you to kind of like have like this confidence for the rest of your day. Right? Because imagine if you play in a sport or you go out on a marathon run and you're clipping at a pace that's like, building a hedge. You're like, okay, I feel good. Like I can settle in now. It's the same thing happens. Like if you start your day off and you put points on a scoreboard, you could be settled in for the rest of the day knowing that you already achieved that.
I think about that in terms of diet too.
Sure. Same.
Points on the scoreboard where, say for example, you're presented with you go to dinner or you go to lunch, you go to a working lunch. Dinner, I enjoy myself when we're going date night or with people and friends.
Sure.
But say it's a working lunch and it's just a regular Wednesday afternoon. You go get like the burger and fries on the menu, or you can make a strong decision to get something that's healthier, a little cleaner. If you choose that healthier option, that is points on the scoreboard. You can rack those up.
Dude, and when you rack them up, you earn it. Yesterday I was training with these guys from B Team Jiu-Jitsu, and they're some of the best in the world. We were talking about confidence and building confidence and how confidence needs to be earned. And I think that as a husband, as a father, if you're trying to be a professional athlete, that's one thing. Like every single choice you make, it needs to help you earn your confidence to show up for your event and know that you put in the work that other people aren't. But I think we could do that same thing to say, hey, are we earning our confidence in name the thing? And getting ready for the CrossFit Games, one of the things I would always do is I'd wear a wristband that said earned. And what it reminded me of, and just like for you, maybe with your events, is that no one gave you anything. Like you earned the right to be here because every night you asked yourself, did I put in the training to set me up for success on X event? And if every day you're doing that, like you've earned the confidence to show up there and just go perform. Like versus perceived confidence, which is totally different. Like if you hadn't been putting in the miles, if you hadn't been asking yourself that question at night and you weren't doing a good job, when you show up there, like, dude, your confidence is all going to be fabricated. It's not going to be the real deal.
You're kind of just hoping.
Yeah, you're hoping.
At that point.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I can tell you right now, if I went to go run a marathon and I wanted to go, I mean, I ran the San Francisco half marathon not that long ago, and I had not earned the confidence to feel like I could do very well. Like the time on the feet alone, I just hadn't gotten enough in. And so that's what we're talking about with everything else that we're doing.
Yeah, it makes me think back to the first time I ever tried to go sub 3 in the marathon. It was the Austin Marathon. I want to say it was 2019. And I was not ready to run sub 3. I did not know what sub 3 required. And
what is that a mile time?
6:45, roughly.
For 3 hours.
And yeah, for 3 hours. And I knew I wasn't ready to do that.
Yeah.
But I had all this false confidence going into that race where I even wrote on my arm. So I have this Go One More tattoo.
Yeah.
Underneath I wrote, you fucking can't. So knowing that when I would be running and I started falling behind, I would look down at my arm thinking, Nick, you fucking can't do this. Kind of just like hyping myself up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can mentally hold 6:45. Even when my body starts to break down, I can mentally hold 6:45. 6 miles into that race, I realized, oh, this ain't happening.
Dude, and then now, right, you ran 2:30 or whatever it was. So what did that end up being per mile?
6:05.
Dude, yeah, that's crazy, right? And so it's because you've been putting the miles to earn that. And I think that, you know, whether we're talking about anything in life, you know, showing up to a big meeting, for example, like, are you earning the confidence to go out there and go perform? Are you preparing well enough to know that you can go perform? And I think that when you can exude that level of confidence and comfort, I think that it only allows you to reach your potential.
It's preparation.
Yeah.